Only one person is crazy enough to take a bunch of silly little folding bikes and other e-bikes and put them on a motorcycle dyno. That's me. I got here the Gotrax F2. Gotta start off with a dyno run. I actually remember the first Gotrax bike I ever reviewed was also a little folding bike, and it felt way more powerful than what they advertised. I'm not sure if this one is gonna be the same case or not, but I do have one reason to believe it might be pretty good. I think it said on their website 500 watts, and the motor on the back looks bigger than that. So I'm just gonna throw this out there and put a prediction. I have changed up the dyno board a little bit just because they actually didn't all fit here anymore. So everything on the right side right here, these are all the stock e-bikes in black here. These are all bikes under 1,000 watts. These are all bikes over 1,000 watts. I definitely think we're gonna be over here, but instead of 500 watts, which would be way at the bottom, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up somewhere here, maybe around the 900 watt range or something. And I say that because this bike has what appears to be a fat bike motor, which is wider, fatter, has more torque than a typical little folding e-bike motor, but they've made a nice wide frame to squeeze a fat bike motor into what is not really, by my definition, a fat bike. So I'm expecting some really good torque with its little wheels, but I have no idea how it's programmed. I haven't ridden it, so I haven't spoiled my assumptions. I'm just going purely based on their website, the looks, and the bike that I tested before. Recording everything from here on out. Battery is fully charged. To turn the key here probably. More than 500 watts. Speedometer reads about 1 mile an hour fast. It does have a really cool fancy thing it does on the display. I'll have to capture some video of that. Bear in mind, this is peak power. I always do that for all bikes because it seems like the most fair, logical way to do it. And I got 819 watts and 23.55 pound-feet of torque. Not bad. 819 watts, 23.55. So that is going to put the Gotrax F2 right here above the Ride One Up Portola, just below the Evercross EK6. That was another 20-inch folding bike. Not bad for something that's on sale right now for $899. All right, I got to capture this moving. Whoa! I'm gonna have to sit on this. Watch what the display does. It's like a road zipping by that goes faster and faster. Definitely something I haven't seen before. Looks kind of cool. Now Gotrax doesn't just make small folding bikes. Coincidentally, they just emailed me this morning saying one of their newest models, the Alpine, is in stock and said they're gonna send one of those out. So if you wanna see bigger fat tire bikes, they've got those too, and it looks like that'll be a future video I'm filming. And speaking of future videos, or maybe some past videos, let me show you or give you a sneak peek at some stuff coming up. This is the Snapcycle Warrior, the most comfortable seat in the world. I'm not kidding, like it's amazing. Review coming on that soon. This is the Happy Run. It actually has a big problem, which I'm not gonna go into because I'm waiting for them to get back to me. I've sent them videos and emails, and they haven't responded for a while, so I'm not sure if that review is still gonna happen or not. We'll see if we get that fixed. This is the HMP Inno A. Looks like a scooter, rides like a scooter, feels like a scooter, but because of these usable pedals, well, usable is debatable, but working pedals, it still qualifies as an e-bike. Really interesting design, quite a lot of fun, actually quite powerful. They say it's 600 watts, but I can tell you that motor definitely has more than 600 watts. We'll find out on the dyno what it actually does. The Iahora Romeo Pro 2, this is the dual motor version. A lot of people interested in this bike to see how it actually performs. That's coming very soon. Another folding bike from Revy Bikes, actually out of stock on these bikes. They asked me to push the video back, so got the bike, doing some riding on it, but that video will come out later. I've already done some videos on the Iahora M1 PS, or as I call it, the Chopper. And I'm gonna do another video on this because people have been asking if I got this thing registered yet. I have a huge update on that, which is good news, possibly not in the way you would expect things to have happened, but it is road legal now. So I'm gonna do a video about how I got this thing registered on the road. That is a big topic I gotta talk a lot about, because that was a process, but I found a really easy way to do it now. And just because the style is similar to that, I parked it next to it. This is the High-Dose B10. I already put this video out. Interesting looking bike, cheap, $9.99. Not the most comfortable saddle, actually probably the worst saddle I've ever ridden on. Other than that, bike actually wasn't bad for $9.99. This one, I'm actually really excited about. This is a prototype from HMP. Yes, the same makers of this little scooter. Scooters is really what they do. They've loaned me this prototype. It's the HMP Lightning. This is not out yet. I'm not actually sure when it's gonna come out, but they basically said, hang on to it for a while, do some riding on it, let us know what you think. Is there anything we should change about it? Go have some fun with it. So that's actually what I've been doing with it. So far, I really, really like it. The scooter design is not necessarily an aesthetic I was ever interested in, but the ride, the power, the speed definitely makes up for it. This thing has got some awesome power, and I'm gonna spoil one little thing about this, which is how much storage it has is just awesome. You can fit like a full-size motorcycle helmet in there, a couple of grocery bags. Like, just having that onboard storage is awesome. But this thing is super fast. I think in addition to in its own dedicated video showing off everything this thing is capable of, I'm not gonna spoil it now, but the price they have told me they're gonna launch this thing at is absolutely insane, and in a good way. It is so much more affordable than I thought they could have done. I think it's gonna make a really good comparison video actually to the Iahora Chopper, just because they're both direct drive hub motors. Top speeds are fairly similar. I'm not gonna spoil which one's faster yet. Power's very similar. Totally different look between the two, but I think they both serve kind of the same type of use case. But the price on this one is just, it's gonna be really good, I promise. And finally, if we want something lightweight, I've got this 10 Ways torque sensing bike. The only 10 Ways bikes I've reviewed so far. Quality was really nice. They rode really smooth. You know, they use belt drives and things. So I'm expecting good things from this one. And that one will be coming out soon as well. But now I gotta get back to the Gotrax. It is a lightweight folding bike. And people always talk about, me included, how folding bikes are nice because you can easily put them in a trunk of a car. There's only a couple of cars parked here right now. One of them's not even mine, but I'll probably use it for demonstration anyway. If you've got a hatchback like this, you got a ton of room, and you can really put almost any kind of bike in here. We could even fit that giant Romeo Pro in a trunk like this if we wanted to, pop the front wheel off and it would fit. So having a folding bike fit in a trunk is sometimes not all that impressive. If you've got a big trunk like this as well, you fold all the seats down, you can fit a full-size bike in here too. Maybe if it was tiny enough, you could fit it in there, but you know what would impress me is if a folding bike could fit in a frunk, because they're a lot smaller. Open, open, open. I don't know, guys. I don't think this is really gonna work, but I just thought there's so many folding e-bikes out there. We gotta push the limits of our tests here and see which one is the most compact. And are there any that can fit in here? And there might be a couple. Okay, and the answer is definitely not. They're just not even remotely close. But in all seriousness, it does fold up fairly compact, and I did say a full-size bike like one of these others can fit in a hatchback style of car, but if you've got a sedan with a smaller trunk opening, this is not gonna fit, and this definitely will. I'm ready. Okay. And one of the times I recommend a folding bike, or I personally use a folding bike, is if I'm traveling somewhere in my car and I know I want to use an e-bike when I'm there, but I'm also gonna have some times when I'm gonna be away from the bike. It's gonna be with the car. It's gonna be on a bike rack, say, parked in a parking lot for half the day. Close the trunk, out of sight, out of mind. No one knows it's there, and the risk of it getting stolen is much, much lower. So anytime you're gonna be doing some traveling, you wanna take your e-bike, but you don't wanna have it either exposed to the elements or potential theft. That's when I actually view a folding bike as a good alternative. Outside of that, I usually prefer a full-size bike that doesn't fold. So let's see how this thing does on a ride. The power was pretty good, but I'm still gonna push it up some hills. Top speed is limited out of the box, so it is a nice legal Class 2 bike. I'm gonna get my camera mount tightened on here. Now they sent me the red and black version of the bike. They've got like 3 different color combinations. One of those color combos looks awfully familiar. I think they were targeting something when they made this new model. This is kind of a pointless off-road test, but I'm doing it anyway because it has front suspension. I wouldn't call this bike a fat tire. They are 20-inch by 3-inch wide tires, which is, I think, a good compromise between comfort and reasonably lightweight. We're on our little dirt track. It hasn't been used enough. Didn't do too bad on that. Often people are buying folding bikes because they are going to take them camping. They need the space, or they don't want to have a rack behind their RV, so they want a little folding bike. That means you're going to be encountering a wide range of terrain. You might be on gravel one day, dirt the next, pavement the next. You never really know. So how does this thing handle on gravel? Whoa. It does slide around a little more than a 4-inch fat tire. I would say this is suitable for everything a fat tire bike can normally do or is used for, besides snow or sand. If you know you're gonna be on the beach or something, go for the 4-inch wide tires. So I'm cruising along at 20 miles an hour, which is actually 19, the speedometer's off by just a hair. The bike has some pretty good get up and go. So let's see, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's a very obvious, like, accelerating all the way up to 20. It's got a little more in the tank motor. There's more power there somewhere. Let's try out the pedal assist. I'm in assist 5. And, you know, it's geared a little low. I actually normally like a fairly fast cadence, but at 20 miles an hour, you actually have to pedal quite quickly. It is a cadence sensor, so I don't really have to pedal. I can slow down and just pretend, and the motor's gonna keep going for me just fine. I don't think I've seen a torque sensor on anything under $1,000 yet. That day will probably come, but we're not there yet. Let's see how we do up a hill. We're still doing like 17, 18 miles an hour. The handling of the bike is good. It feels very stable. It doesn't feel squirrely like some folding bikes do. And now that we got a steep hill, let's test out the brakes. Good, very good actually. So the brakes are a big surprise on this. Anytime a bike is under $1,000, my expectation 100% of the time, 99% of the time, is mechanical disc brakes. They've got hydraulic brakes on this with 180 millimeter rotors for $8.99. All right, we're going back up the hill. Now we're pushing a little harder, like 7 miles an hour, but it's pulling me up the hill without any pedaling. But that's pretty good to put hydraulic brakes with 180 rotors on a bike at this price. Battery-wise, it's a little on the small side. So this is the brand of hydraulic brake they're using. Single caliper, but 180 millimeter rotors. Fork looks kind of cheap, but hey, $8.99, remember? The tires are, again, 20x3s. They got a little bit of tread. They're kind of just a good all-around, not too aggressive, not too much oriented to the street. It's got these plastic folding pedals. That's probably one of the things I would change out at some point in time. Not a big fan of the plastic ones. They saved a little money on the seat post with this older clamp style design. I mean, it works, but then again, they do things like this, like put on a little bag, which is quite nice. So what's even in here? Oh, sweet. It's got a phone mount for the handlebars. Oh, look at that. And a bike mirror and a tire iron, a couple of heavy duty zip tie thingies. Is there something in the other side of the bag? Oh, there is. There's more. Oh, sweet. We got a lock. This is what those heavy duty zip ties are for, is to clip this onto the bike somewhere. I mean, I'd say what more could you want than what they've come with for $8.99, but there is more. Integrated tail lights and headlight. If you've been watching the California e-bike rebate program, you know that's a requirement, as is UL certification. Now, is this battery or bike UL certified? The answer is, surprisingly, yes. I don't know if they've signed up their bikes for that, but that means this bike would be eligible. Kickstand is an older design. The rack design is integrated. It's part of the frame itself. They say max 25 kilograms, so 55 pounds or so, which is pretty good. Using a kind of budget Shimano 7-speed derailleur, 7-speed freewheel on here. The gearing, like I said, is fairly low, so it's gonna be really good for climbing hills and things. If you really wanna pedal at 20 miles an hour or faster, you're spinning kind of too fast for it to be really useful for that. Saddle is a little wider than average. Some people might still go for something bigger and more comfy, but I think that's actually pretty good the way it is. Half twist throttle on the right-hand side. The display is a color LCD of sorts. We have a headlight dedicated light button. Why, hello, horsey. The light is not very bright. It looks pretty dim. That's more of a to be seen light, not for seeing. They do have mounts on the frame for a front rack. I'm not sure how well the bike actually folds up with the front racks. Might make the folding a little awkward. And then if we press the middle button, it just changes from the trip, odometer, max speed, and average speed. See, I got up to 31 miles an hour down the hill over there. And even at that speed, the bike felt very stable. The folding mechanisms feel nice and tight and sturdy. Every latch has a safety mechanism, so they can't accidentally unfold or get disconnected. And it does zip along pretty good. We hit the throttle and off we go. It's not an abrupt launch, but it's quick. And we're up to 20 miles an hour, just like that. Let me just go through the things that I would change if it was my bike. Now bear in mind, these things could or would affect the price. The seat post design, it's old school. I would change that. It just makes the bike look cheap. So I'd spend a few bucks and I'd change that. This kickstand is an older design. I've seen some of them break on heavier bikes. Probably gonna be fine on this, but I'd change it to something sturdier. Very budget-friendly derailleur, but I would go with something a step up, a little bit nicer. And it would be nice to have a little more battery capacity, 48 volt, 10 amp hours. Like I said, a little on the small side. And I might look for a slightly higher quality suspension fork. All of those things combined might bump the price of the bike up, you know, 100 or 200 bucks. But those are the things that they have gone with, you know, budget components to keep this price as low as it is. It is an affordable bike, and I'm not gonna call it a cheap bike. I've seen cheap bikes. I've seen where they sacrifice quality that really matters and makes the bike bad, and I don't think this is a bad bike. Oh yeah, I would change out those plastic pedals. I have seen some of those break on occasion, and sometimes they just don't feel great or have a lot of grip. I'd change those out too. Thanks to Gotrax for sending me their new F2 bike. If you're looking for a very affordable folding bike, I don't think you could really go wrong with one of these. As always, link in the description. Now, I have had a few people ask in comments, they said I look different, especially if they haven't watched some of my videos in several months. Yeah, that's because I've lost like 75 pounds or more on my carnivore diet, which has worked amazingly for my health. If you didn't catch it, I do have a little bit of a cold in this video, a little bit of a sore throat, unfortunately. That's totally unrelated to my other health problems. But overall, I am seeing some improvement. Number one thing is definitely the carnivore diet. Eating primarily red meat has been absolutely amazing. I have tried a couple rounds of acupuncture. It's possible that has helped a little bit as well. Another thing that has changed my sleep in quite a dramatic way that I did not expect is something called earthing or grounding. It sounds absolutely ridiculous. I'll go into it more in detail in another video if you guys really want to know more about it. But I'm just going to put a link in the description to earthing sheets or grounding sheets. They do something. It sounds weird when you see what it does, but being grounded while you sleep is a fascinating electrical experience, I should say. This guy's on the Super 73. If I was feeling better, I'd go grab a faster bike and go blow past him just for the fun of it. Not today. Another day.